Formed in 2014, have been around releasing music and playing live since about 2015, following the release of their first EP, and over the last 3 years, they've slowly but surely been gaining some presence in this sort of music scene. A certain clique of fans of small bands and college bands that fall in the pop-punk genre, and cliques that change existing genres or define their own. And that description more or less describes the first band, Diet Cig. Diet Cig consists of a lead vocalist and guitarist, Alex, and a percussionist, Noah, and nobody else. That's right, they're a duo band. Now, normally I find myself grading duo bands on a pretty sharp curve. Since they don't have a bassist or a second guitarist, they tend to fall behind more conventional band layouts in the quality of their music. But I'm thrilled to say that Diet Cig is one of a handful of duo bands that manage to carry a full sound despite their small numbers. Since they formed in 2014, Diet Cig has released 1 extended play and 1 full-length album. So without further ado, let's get into their first EP, Over Easy. Over Easy's a quick listen. It's only 5 tracks and comes in at under 11 minutes. But it perfectly sets the stage for Diet Cig's signature sound. Probably the best way to describe Diet Cig's sound is a washed-out, reverby pop-punk sound. Not necessarily with their mastering or style of playing, but more with their melody structures. The guitar playing and the percussion is never absolutely outstanding. You've certainly heard songs that sound like these before, but they make up for that with being perfectly coordinated. Both members of this band have outstanding chemistry, and the timing of instrumentals in their songs is near perfect. Songs have absolute flow to them, a very distinct progression. While not as refined as their later effort, the songs on this EP all have a clean structure that works very well. Vocalist Alex seems to sing very honestly, speaking about on this album to things like shitty ex-boyfriends who leave you when they go off to Harvard and live the good life, to getting sick of the pretentious indie scene, which is so cool, guys, I mean, so cool, to even the more regretful and surprisingly somber Cardboard. Unfortunately, since this is such a short EP, there isn't that much to talk about. A few years later, and this darling duo released their debut full-length album, Swear I'm Good at This. While their debut EP was enjoyable, their following full-length album is a step up in all categories. The mastering is ever so slightly less hazed, allowing the instrumentation to shine through a little more. Alex's vocals are darling on this album. She sings in a high register and sounds almost cutesy, but always has a twinge of that wonderful punky snarl. She sounds confident. Not confident in a Riot Girl way, where she is da boss. She never seems to go overboard with her personality or her punkness, I guess you could say, and I really appreciate that. She's a genuinely good singer who can lay on an extra messiness and extra imperfection to her voice. Her guitar work's improved on this album. Melodies are carried by the guitar, not just her voice, and are very catchy. I have one stuck in my head right now, and she also adds a helping of synth in some songs, which is a wonderful change of pace. And while sometimes her instrumentation can get fast and punky, but at other times she can make it more subdued, taking songs into a more surf-like direction, more classic rock direction, or more indie direction. Consistently throughout the album, they sound like the same band and carry the same style in different places. It never sounds awkward and always feels organic, and the album keeps flowing with great pacing and a great sense of progression from song to song. Swear I'm Good at This opens with 16, a song that starts with a subdued and kinda messy acoustic guitar. Vocalist Alex lets her inner punk out, singing about how when she was 16, she dated a boy with her own name, and the song goes on from there. This song's a great example of Diet Cig understanding how progression throughout a song works and how it can be done well. Slowly, the acoustic guitar is replaced with a subtle electric guitar, and after a few chords, vocalist Alex asks, "Ready?" This is a pop-punk melody at its finest, and here is a perfect time to bring up percussionist Noah's performance. Whenever he's playing, you can tell that he is playing strategically. As Trey Cool once said, he's not playing the drums, he's playing the song. His style could easily carry to a very ferocious, aggressive sound, but he always holds it back with perfect timing to match the song. Bite Back is a more standard pop-punk fare, getting a little angrier, a little more ferocious, but never getting too far. Alex sings about feeling lonely in the big city, and how everyone is just so damn shitty. I've just fucking had it with the things you say you think I should be, is how link in bio goes. It's a tongue-in-cheek name for an enjoyable, if rather standard, pop-punk song. It's certainly the most ferocious that the A-side of the album gets. It's the build-up to probably the best song on the album, Made of the Mist. Made of the Mist opens with soaring synth work. The first half of the song and the second half are almost different songs, although they're held together perfectly by the inertia of the song going through. The guitar work here gets more outspoken, but the synth drops back, giving the sense of the song getting louder and more intense without it actually doing so, which is a good thing. Then, almost suddenly, the song slows down, leaving, at points, pretty much only Alex's voice. Slowly her singing gets louder, more frantic, building the song up, as the percussion slowly gets more intense in the background, and the song explodes to a close. Leo is a simple and short song with a soaring and fun chorus. And Apricots is a stripped-down Moldy Peaches-esque track, which is a nice breather after the A-side to gear you up for the coming explosion at the start of side B. Barf Day is one of the two strongest punk songs on this album and is a great bang to start the second side. I'm not going to say much about it because I want you to listen to it. It does have some of my favorite guitar work, electric guitar work that is, on the album. Bath Bomb is incredibly hazy, stripping the sound down to a more old-fashioned, not sure if I should say 60s sound, but I'm going to go with that. Bath Bomb sounds like a song sung in the tub when you're just sitting there soaking in the suds waiting for it to drain, which is exactly what the song's about. It's introspective with Alex singing about her sister, her mother, thinking about life. It's just that extra little something to make it a little more. Blob Zombie is a pretty quick one. It sounds like one of those short songs on any punk album. Road Trip leans the farthest into the kind of surfy vibe on this album. The chipper synth returns in the background here, and it's just a fun track. I Don't Know Her is the slowest song on the album here, and is the closest thing to a slow song that the album gets to, and it's nice. Of course, Tummy Ache is the punky grand finale to the album, and My Stomach Hurts, 'cause it's hard to be a punk when wearing a skirt, Alex sings, which is kind of ironic, because she certainly makes it seem, as all good musicians do, sort of effortless. There's a nice building piano in the background to this track, and it probably has my favorite drumming on the album. Again, like the other more punky songs on this album, it certainly sounds familiar if you've heard more than even a few punk albums, but they really pull it off. Although it's layered harmony, the harmony on the end of this song is nice, and it brings the album then a chiller close. If you couldn't tell, I really enjoy this album, and I really enjoy the band in general. I can't wait to see the kind of things that they can do in the future and where they take their sound from here. Grades-wise, I'd give their debut EP, Over Easy, a C+, a favorable C+, and I'd give their full-length album, Swear I'm Good at This, a B, for especially strong album flow, understanding of chemistry between musicians, and fun melodies. A good band knows that that often isn't enough. You frequently need the instrumentation working into the melody. It can't just be the vocalist on melody and the bass section being there to back it up. It really requires some sort of working together. And a well-placed guitar chord or drum beat can further the vocalist's melody. And hey, the guitar can even carry the melody. It's a pretty wild idea, but it happens. Not that long ago, Diet Cig were a small college band, and slowly but surely they've been growing in popularity. If I've convinced even one of you to give their music a try, then that absolutely makes my day. They're leaning towards the older style of pop-punk and influences of genres past, as opposed to more of the generic current pop-punk, is also very appreciated. I strongly recommend Diet Cig to fans of pop-punk, fans of classic rock, and fans of indie rock and indie acoustic, and to fans of bands with good female vocalists. Diet Cig. They may not be a band who's trailblazing, not setting any new ground, but the ground that they're covering is incredibly firm and incredibly enjoyable. Well, that's the video. If you liked it, like it. If you disliked it, dislike it. If you want to see me review something in particular, leave a comment. If you want to contact me, I have links to social media in the description, and I now have an Instagram where I'm going to post tiny little 1 or 2 sentence reviews when I don't have much more to say besides that. And I hope I get to rant to you in a future music review.